I understand that we now have Kayla Megwa on the line from Abuja. Kayla, of course, is covering the PDP headquarters. Now, Kayla, the party, just like the APC, had insisted that it was going to go ahead with its campaigns, before this very latest information came that INEC had in fact allowed parties to resume their campaigns. Do you have any idea when that will happen for the PDP? When are they going to resume the campaigns? And what did they say about the issue of campaigns today?
Well, Mr. Laddie, the question was about the timing, right? So what the PDP had said before this recent information is that Section 99, I think subsection 103 of the Electoral Act says that the campaigning should end 24 hours before the election and a whole week before the election is before them. So it's too much time, really, not to sensitize their voters to go out there and vote. And then they were saying, they were going to talk to their members, really, to await their directive. There are some rumors that it might start tomorrow. But nothing confirmed yet. The PDP has been talking a lot since the postponement of these elections, and they just came out of a press briefing with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Yakubu Dogara, and the biggest story in Abuja right now really has to do with a statement made by Mr. President today at the APC caucus meeting, and that is what a lot of people have been responding to. But when it comes to the campaigning or resuming the campaigns, no word yet. They say they'll be talking to their party members. By the way, there's going to be a National Executive Council meeting tomorrow for the PDP, and I think that will come up at that meeting tomorrow, Laddie.
Okay, let me ask you, Kayla, there's been a lot of back and forth from the major parties on the reason why this election was postponed. And you hear from everything from, oh, they want to scuttle it, to who is colluding with INEC, all sorts of allegations out there. How is the PDP taking it, and what's their own view of why this is happening now?
Well, that's actually part of what was said today. They were actually accusing the APC of lying, so to speak, because they're, according to them, Mr. Adams Oshomole has said that the PDP had knowledge before the postponement of the elections, and they're saying that is absolutely untrue. They had no idea, and they're saying actually it was the APC that they think had that knowledge before the elections were postponed. So it's really a lot of back and forth, and I think that's going to be going on until the polls come this weekend.
So tomorrow at the meeting that you've talked about of the PDP, what do you think are going to be the major points of discussion? Do you have any idea?
Well, one of the major issues that's still going on, that one person after the other from the party has been responding to, has to do with the statement made by Mr. President today. They're really calling it a call to arms. They're saying, well, basically, away from all of the noise on social media, there is a standard operating procedure that security operatives are supposed to use whenever the elections come up. So they are saying, they are, of course, in the politicking that's going on, they are saying Mr. President may have been unaware of the standard operating procedure, and then, because stealing of ballot boxes and all of these things happening during elections, they are misdemeanors. And you can't use a capital punishment for a misdemeanor. And that's part of what the conversation has been. I think that's going to come up again, how they can use that as part of their campaign strategy. And I also think they're going to be talking about what they are going to do before the elections this weekend. It's a few days before the election, so they'll be thinking of how to up the ante. How do they remind their voters of who they are and what they're doing? And not that they feel that they're big enough. The PDP feels pretty confident about the elections this weekend, but they still feel like a whole week will be enough time for them to tie up a few loose ends, meet a few people, talk to a few more people that they would want to come out and cast their votes on their behalf when the elections come this weekend. So that will make part of what's being discussed, and maybe a few more issues will be coming up, but these two basically will be at the top of that agenda tomorrow. The meeting is tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much. Kayla Megwa, our correspondent in Abuja at the PDP national headquarters. Thank you very much. Back in the studio here, now we've heard from the two big parties. At some point we'll be hearing from others. But Mr. Shomi, I apologize for putting you on pause. Please conclude your thoughts now.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the viewers know quite all right that I'm sure Mr. Ozaze is probably not aware that people are collecting these things from local government. Or maybe there was a time when it was taken to some wards but it was not in any organized form. I'm aware in some states where it took the efforts of the governors, to ask people, look, if you have not collected your PVC, let us know where you are and your ward, then we will arrange with INEC to ensure they bring it down to the ward. So that is happening, not because it's any organized activity on the part of INEC. What INEC needs to do is take all these PVCs to the ward level. People will pick them up from there. It's a very straightforward matter. The more people we have voting, the better for our democracy, and the better, for INEC, because the election will be seen to be more credible.
Now, some people have suggested that the insistence of INEC not to allow collection by proxy has also hindered some people. For example, in the rural areas you mentioned, that if such cards for those areas could be handed over to the, say, traditional rulers of those areas or the religious leaders of those areas, that maybe they would find it much easier to get it across. I mean, this is just an idea. Do you buy that?
Yes, that can work, because in Nigeria today, you'll be shocked the number of Nigerians that actually believe in traditional rulers, and they seem to trust their rulers. They would obey their instructions. So if that is the only way to do it, what INEC needs to do is to have an official of INEC, in the traditional rulers and palace. He will invite his people, call the people who have not collected. You have not collected, you have not collected. Meet me on so date. Come and pick up your PVC. We can use the help of traditional rulers. There's nothing wrong with that. There are other traditional institutions which INEC can tap into. It's not necessarily the conventional one. We should not forget one thing. We want the highest possible number of Nigerians to elect our leaders. That is the best thing for us, and it will help the cause of democracy. Voting is a very important component, of any functional democracy, and that is why the higher the number, the more credible the election becomes.